Hey guys, just want to let you know that KP Performance Antennas is working with Baicells and felt that it was important to go out in the field and do what we do best, and that is to go out and test the bare subscriber unit with the reflector to show a real world comparisons. We're just waiting for the PowerPoint presentation because it didn't load on this computer. I'll give you guys a breakdown on KP Performance Antennas. We are an antenna manufacturer from Canada, Edmonton, Alberta. We have a warehouse location in Chicago, and we were just acquired by the Infinite Group, who owns PastureNet Cables, Alcom. It's a pretty big company. We went from 6 people to 900 people, so we have manufacturing plants now, physical plants of our own in China, as well as other locations in Mexico, and so it's going to allow us to bring more products to the WISP industry. KP is known for its antennas, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that we had the accessories that would allow the WISPs to have a better point of contact for more. When you're buying your product, you can come right to us and you can actually get the accessories as well as the antennas.
So when did you just do this little road testing? Just last week, right?
Yeah, we flew from Edmonton to Dallas and saw JJ there in Sherman, and we were able to do a couple tests. I'll let you go. Just arrow?
Yeah, it should be just arrow.
So these are just a few pictures because we're from Edmonton. Of course, when we saw the largest rocking chair in the world, we had to pull over and take a picture. So. And there's a few others. Of course, one day we had a really jam-packed schedule, but one day we were going toward Memphis and we were told that a tower was down, so we saw St. Louis and immediately thought of Jim Patient, so we thought we had to go visit with Jim for a day. So anyway, there you go. That's a few pictures from our trip. This is, here, I'll let you go over there and I'll...
Yeah, so, thanks, Ken. So, yeah, Ken did all this testing here. By the way, I'm Justin. I'm the RF engineer here. Ken didn't introduce me. So what we did a number of different tests. This is a test here at one site, and we did a comparison between when you have just the bare radio with no dish, and then another one when you use our smaller dish, and then with our larger dish, and then when you have the integrated solution right there. So you can see here, once you put on the dish, the RSRP went up about 10 dBm right there, and that equated to roughly about a 50% improvement in the download speed. So
our belief is more gain, more bandwidth, and it shows it here.
Yeah. You got to point it right here.
Okay. Yeah. Good, yes. So you see a 50%, and then the upload speed kind of went up too. You go to the large dish, you also saw the improvement right there, and also the improvement in the RSRP.
On average, what we saw is 3 to 5 dBi on the small dish over the flat panel. So it not only you gain 3 to 5 dBi, but you also tighten the beam width quite a bit. We haven't had a chance to test the beam width off the reflector, but we assume it's going at least in half. So you're probably going from 30 to 15 degrees. So it allows you to put a lot less noise in the field. So if you're shooting out there, all the people in front are going to hear, just like the people in the back. So with the large dish, we're finding that we're getting about 2 to 3 dBi over our small dish. So not that you want to go with the large dish because it's 2 to 3 inches bigger, and if you don't need it, you shouldn't use it. But when you're able to go at further distances and tighten up that beam, you're able to get a lot more throughput through it as well.
And we've worked there's not a significant price difference when yours with the reflector and then with our 19.5 by itself.
Absolutely. So we are pricing it. It'll go in our scale package like we've sold in the past. We'll break it into 100 packs. So if you buy a 4-pack, it'll be a certain price, say $208 for a 4-pack, and that's including the radio. So $208 includes the actual subscriber unit. And then if you go down, so if you get a 100-pack, it'll bring it down to, I think, $190 some dollars. You'll have to ask the guys at the booth exactly what that is. So what we did is we also did tests. So we did, this right here was a 5 mile, and these are non-line of sight shot, guys. I was very surprised when we went out there. We were 3, 5, 8 mile shots, completely non-line of sight.
Told you.
Yeah, this one's an 8 mile, a little bit farther. Same type of comparison here. You can see we went up from 10 to 50. And with the larger dish, this is where you actually see that greater improvement over the smaller dish right here for the download speeds.
We found that the further we go from the tower, it actually, our CNR actually improves because of the dish, where the flat panel, it actually degradates at the further you go.
So yeah, here's where the dish was mounted on top of the that grain silo there. Yeah,
And even with the 19.5, it's still a significant performance, increase.
When right now, the only problem that I had with our current tests, and in the perfect case scenario, you'd have leaves on your trees, right? So we were shooting through 8 miles, even though we were still shooting through, we were up top, we were still shooting through, a considerable amount of trees. I would be careful until spring. This kind of brings us back. I'm sure you guys were all in the 900 megahertz range at one time, and we got the product in January, and everyone thought it was fantastic. And this is phenomenal. Like, to see the bandwidth we were getting, I think we hit 85 megs at 5 miles at the site before this, and to be able to get that bandwidth, and we were shooting through 3 miles of trees, not just 5 miles, but 3 miles of solid trees, and then there was a gap on both sides. So amazing. Like, I can't even tell you, because of course we all want bandwidth. I was a wireless internet provider before I started KP, and to be promised something and to actually see it work in the field, whether the trees are a part of it or not, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So this one was a little bit strange, but there's obviously a little bit of variability in the results. So in this one example, these tests were run fairly quick, but we're fairly sure we could have, if we waited a little longer, we could have got better results. But we were doing about the same amount with and without the dish, the small dish. But then we went to another site, a little bit farther distance, and we did see the improvement again.
When we did these tests, this in Sherman, we were delayed in Denver by 6 hours. So when we got to Sherman, it was 8 o'clock at night. So we wanted to try and get as many tests in that night as possible. So when we ran these tests, it really shows you how honest they are, because we looked at the signal, and our signal is what we really wanted to look for. The rest of it, once we had it tuned in, we took a screenshot and moved to the next antenna, right? So right here, is that the 3 mile?
Yeah, 3 miles at the top.
So the 3 mile.
So with this reflector, a lot of guys have existing reflectors up. All they have to do is change the bracket, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the accessory part on the front. We ran our first 1000. It'll look like the one up on the top left picture. And moving forward, it'll be a little slimmer than that. But
so they can order it without the reflector. They can
absolutely.
Order it with the bracket.
Yeah. Just you already have those clients. If you have reflector dishes, you already have them pointing at the tower. So to be able to just replace that subscriber mount in the front will make it user-friendly for you. Here's another one right here. This was, yours. Yeah. And we found some things out, actually. This is a perfect example. He has, what did you have, that 120 on that tower?
Oh, yes, on that tower, it's 20 or 120.
Yeah, 120. And, you know, depending on the areas, guys, you know, obviously, if you don't have, you know, you have probably a line of sight of total 8 miles from that tower, maybe,
You get 5 miles.
right?
Actually, up the hill, below the hill, behind some trees.
Yeah. So before he went there with the flat panel, he couldn't even pick up the signal. And we were able to at least get signal, and then we realized that he had too much down tilt on his sectors. So we were only getting the top part of the signal on the sector. So.
The fact that it picked up at all was very impressive.
No, absolutely, for sure. We took it as a little challenge to go out there, and he says, "No, we can't get it," and we're like, "We're going." So we did that one, and then of course you can see it's pretty consistent. We handed out some charts for you guys. It's small, sorry, but there was a lot of information to put out there, and we really wanted everyone to see true, real-world results. You see 3 to 5 dBi over the flat panel with this reflector. On the smaller and on the bigger, you gain an extra 2 to 3.
Sean, is that at your house?
What was that?
Is that at your house?
Yes. My house. Oh, and by the way, Ken, before that dish on the barn, the first place we went to.
Yeah?
We went and put it in, and improved the customer's experience quite a bit.
Oh, really? Oh, that's fantastic. We actually went to this one location, and we had to, I think if we go another slide, we might
There's
use it.
only, this is the last one.
Oh, we didn't, okay.
Yep.
So we were shooting right through, you know, you were thinking that the tower was to the left, and we immediately saw that it was right through the heart of that tree. You know, it's certainly nice that we were able to have the same signal. So what did you improve the signal on that barn?
It went from a neg 98 to a neg 91.
Wow, so 7 dBi.
With your, you know, with the smaller CPE and your big dish.
Good. And,
Actually, when you got on the roof of the barn, you can see the top of the tower.
oh, you can?
And it is to the left of that tree. So we were getting a better signal through the heart.
Really? Interesting. So you gained a total of 8 dBi over the panel?
About a
7,
7.
sorry. Yeah. So 7 dBi. And did you notice anything with the bandwidth once you...
Well, it improved his download and upload. And upload was as big as blank. So since we were able to improve the signal quality, he was able to get a little better upload.
Excellent, excellent. That was something I saw guys out in the field, is that, you know, the 70 to 80 megs of download was something we saw on a consistent basis. We saw when people were using a 10 meg channel, 34 to 40.
What these are, you have to
Exactly, yeah. And then as soon as we went to a 20 meg, we were able to get it up to the 85. So depending on the amount of spectrum you have, you know, it'll work really well.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a 10 meg channel we're looking at, the speeds.
What were we testing the bandwidth on there, though? Speedtest.net. And, you know, that's why we all know you can do a speed test 1 minute and it can be higher the next. We really didn't look at that. If we had more time, we probably would have tried to make them more even if we could have. But we did the speed test and we went to the next thing. And, you know, it is only as good as what, right? So it's one of those things that we take with a grain of salt, but it's at least something there for us to measure, right?
That particular base station had 15 users on it, I believe, at the time.
Yeah,
Mostly days.
yeah. It was pretty heavy. We were right there in the middle of the day. Yeah.
So Ken, I would encourage you to have your guys screenshot these slides and stick them on our page.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we welcome any of our partners, anything else they're selling, even if it has nothing to do with our stuff, but if it can help you and your business, I encourage them, go up there, start a dialogue, post the stuff, share this stuff. The whole idea is just to give you as many tools as you can to get the job done, because it's never been a one-size-fits-all. Just like you're going to see more Bs, and we offer already more subscribers. And this is just another way to skin the cat. And because a lot of you guys do already have reflectors, I think it can be a really effective and cost-effective way to build some of this stuff out. And to the extent I can save you any money, that's what I'm about. So.
Oh, yeah, there's, you know, just to be able to put this reflector up and, You know, you think about it, you're getting 2 to 3 times the signal that you would get on each antenna, right? And you're not paying that, which is an affordable, when you go out there and you put a reflector on, and you know, for every 3 dBi, you're essentially doubling yourself. So if you look at that, you're not, you know, we all like a deal, and not to have to pay for every dBi that you get makes it affordable for everybody.
And by the way, Gulf Coast guys, you asked about dual band antennas. KP does make a 3.x, 5.x combo antenna, single attachment.
Yeah,
and that's going to be even more important for us, and some stuff you're going to hear about a little bit later.
Absolutely. And it's a, you know, now we brought Justin Pollack, sorry guys, he's our RF engineer. We brought on, since our acquisition, we brought on a HFSS to allow us to troubleshoot the way we design our antennas. So we're about a year behind, to be honest, but because Justin has his master's and PhD, he's been working with the software for a few years.
6.
And so when he goes into it, we're able to fine-tune our antennas now within, what a percentage with that software? That software does 1% or?
Oh, it just depends how well engineered and made it is, but you can get it between 0.5 as low, but 1.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, we want you guys to understand that when we make these antennas, we're trying to not only give you a deployment with the proper antenna, but we're also building we're going to start using a tool, and, you know, you can come to us. We'll help you with that free of charge, because we want you to see how in your area those antennas will lay out. And it's something that, it's a very costly software, but it helps a lot more when you're able to simulate things more to the real world than have to go up to a tower and guess, right? So, anyway, yeah.
Casey, Mike.
What's that? Hey Ken, we're running quite a few Baicells APs. Got a lot of the 90 degree dual band 365 and 5 gig antennas, and after seeing the antenna stuff from earlier, I'm getting more interested in swapping those out for 65s instead of 90s. Any plan in the future for doing some 65s, dual band, any kind of 65 antenna?
Yeah, so in 3 gig band, we're developing some 60s, even tighter beams, 45s, 33s, if you want to do some higher density coverage. So, yep, that's coming out in the future, hopefully late spring. Yep.
With good partners, we push each other. So they push us a little, we push them a little, right? That's how it should work.
You know, something we've realized with the side lobe isolation, we've been able to cut it. Like, you come to the booth, we'll talk about it later, but the front to back and the side lobe isolation is just so clean now with our newer designs that are going to be coming out, and the tighter beam. So, you know, I think with the 90, depending on the site, you can afford to do 90s, 390s in that tower, but then once it overloads that tower and you want to go more than 3, I think then that's when you're going to want to go to a tighter beam for sure. And those dual frequencies and dual beams will be available. Yeah.
Justin, this is Cameron. We haven't actually met yet, guys. So when I was talking in my presentation earlier, when I said that we had been working with guys and KP would have some presentation, is essentially, I've been beating these guys up pretty good. It's like, I hate 120s. I don't want to see them, honestly. 90s, 65s, 45s, and even 33s, like they mentioned. And obviously, you've seen Alpha presentation as well. So it kind of all going the same way. There's those tighter antennas, and that's, you know, a good thing to consider, particularly when it comes to capacity-driven sites, and particularly if you're doing dual band.
It's like anything, you know, I appreciate that not everybody wants to put an Omni up, but if it only can, you know, put in so many clients, you're going to put an Omni, and then you might go to 390s, and then I think that the tighter the beam, obviously. So.
Hey, you know what? I mean, for Omnis, all the caveats apply. Everyone knows it. But the reality is, if your base station is, you know, relatively inexpensive in the LTE world, and you want to extend to the edge or cover holes, hey man, you know, that's
There's
the
no
way to
doubt.
do it, as long as you know the penalties and the price you might
It's going to give
pay.
you limitations, right? Yeah.
Hey guys, so Cameron a little bit earlier made us all groan when he told us the RF jumpers we were using probably weren't very good for the application. Since you're now part of a company that also makes cables, could we convince you to switch to low-
100%. We're already in the process.
Well, thanks.
I'd be in trouble.
He actually wasn't even going to ask anything about low PIM. It was about whether or not the cables would be different connections.
Well, we actually have some the rating on these cables now. I'm sure you are all aware of Pasternet cables. They're an amazing company, and we have 3 of their VPs of engineering working on cables that you won't have to tape your connectors up anymore. So that is going to be a game changer for everybody. These are cables that I'm going to send over to Brian, and Brian's going to put them in a river or something and make sure that they don't, you know, let water in. But, you know, they've been certified, and I can bet by the next round we're going to stop including cables with our sectors, and that way people can order whether they come from our Chicago warehouse or our Irvine, California. They make cables every day. So if you need a special cable, you give us a call. The guys can get it made. It's out the same day. So, any other questions?
Thank you.
I actually have one. You will be PIMming these, so they'll be certified low PIM. True?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. We
Thanks, guys.
appreciate sharing data. Thanks, Ken. Yes, we are. Good job, Justin.